and welcome everyone to our first Getting Started with Deel Employer of Record training webinar. We're super excited to have you here. So let's get started. First, I wanted to just quickly present our speakers for today. We have Doak from the sales team and Jordan from the onboarding team. They'll give their intros in a bit more detail later on. Now, what's our agenda? Today, we'll cover Intro to Deel Employer of Record and how to navigate the Deel platform with those key areas and features of our platform listed there. And we'll reserve 10 to 15 minutes at the end for a live Q&A session. Now, just some housekeeping items. Here, you're free to drop your questions for us in the chat on the left all throughout during the training. We have Matt from our team who will be answering the questions. You can say hi, Matt, so people know. And then another. So if you're running into video streaming issues, there are a couple things you can try. You can either first refresh your browser and close all your other tabs so it runs a little bit more smoothly, or you can change the video quality resolution by clicking the gear button down below and then switching to a lower video quality so it streams a bit faster. And lastly, yes, this training session will be recorded and sent to your email after this live event, so you can share with your colleagues or reference it for yourself later on. Next, I'm going to hand it over to Doak, who will take you through an intro to a Deel Employer of Record model.
Thanks, Rebecca. Hey, everyone. My name is Doak. I'm one of the senior account executives here at Deel. Just to remind you about Deel and our services and why everyone here is in today's meeting, wanted to give you a general overview of what we're offering here. So next slide, please. Deel enables companies like yourself to hire, manage, and pay your team all across the world. We know hiring is tough, and we don't want geographic regions to be the only limiting factor in terms of you hiring the best talent for your team. So with Deel, you can hire both independent contractors in a compliant way through our network of over 200 plus legal partners. We have localized contracts for you, as well as hiring full-time employees through our network of entities all around the world through our employer of record services. So what is EOR? EOR helps businesses of all size hire full-time employees across the globe in as little as a couple of minutes, so that you don't need to go out to a new country and set up your own entity, hire your own accountant, set up your own bank account, set up your own benefits. We'll handle all the back of house work for you so that you can easily hire people all around the world as full-time employees as efficiently and compliantly. How does it work? Deel, through our network of entities and legal partners and accounting partners, handles all the legal responsibility for the employment. So all the employment liability and burdens are on us. All the compliance, onboarding, payroll, benefits, and heaven forbid, offboarding is handled by us as well. As a client of Deel, you get access to obviously the full control of the day-to-day relationship. They're not interfacing with anyone at Deel on a day-to-day basis. All the IP ownership is automatically directed to you, and you get access to a global workforce in as little as a couple of clicks of a button. We help your company perform at its best. Hiring is super simple with the Deel platform. You just need to input a couple pieces of data, including where your employees are from and what their salaries and scopes of work are going to be. You get global coverage through our network of over 80 Deel-owned entities, as well as our expert partners around the globe. We can help you hire in almost any country in the world. You get a single, easy-to-use platform, which we'll show you in just a minute, to control all of your entire international teams, whether they're contractors or employees, to manage their payroll in just a couple of clicks of a button, as well as the employee experience that your team deserves. Your employees get access to the best-in-class perks, benefits from retirement to healthcare, all through our network of affiliates and partners across the globe. Now that we've talked about it, I'll pass things over to Jordan, who's going to show you a demo of the Deel platform.
Thanks so much, Doak. Like Doak said, I am Jordan. I'm a customer onboarding manager here at Deel. And today's focus is going to be to demo the employer of record aspects on Deel. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. And as many of you have seen already, since you have already had some time on the Deel platform, you, when you first log in, get over here to the Deel dashboard. From the dashboard, you have a high-level view of payments that you've made throughout any given period of time, as well as payments that are due upcoming, and potentially any items needed for approval, employees that are being onboarded, and some HR aspects that you can see here, such as the breakdown by country of your team. Really cool feature that we added somewhat recently is that you can share this out to social media. This is a great way to promote your global recruiting across the world, as well as upcoming holidays for all your employees that are registered on the Deel platform. Really great way to ensure that you are maintaining equity across your company and honoring those public holidays there. All right, I am going to jump ahead to contracts. We'll touch here on payments and approvals in a little bit. So from here, contracts, I want to talk to you about how you can manage your Deel employees of record. All right, when you go here to contracts, you'll see the whole list of all the contracts that you have active on Deel. I just want to note that here, when you are in a specific team, it will only show the contracts in that given team. Otherwise, right now I'm on all teams, so I am seeing all of them. You can filter by a number of filters here. Populates here already to team, contract type, as well as contract status. So I'm going to pull up just my full-time employees, since that's what our focus is today. You can see a number of things from this contract list, right? The name of the contract, the amount that is upcoming to be due, status. So for example, if some of these are not fully onboarded yet, you can see some statuses like waiting for client to sign, awaiting deposit payment. And then you can see here on my demo account, I've got a lot of overdue payments, which will get paid out today. All right. And if you have a lot of these contracts, you can always just search in here by the name if you know it. All right, let's dig into one of these contracts. To open it up, you can just click on any given contract. All right, so I've got one open and ready here. So on Lionel's contract here, it opens automatically to the overview page. All right, from here, you're going to see a high-level overview of what is due upcoming in the most recent cycle, okay? You'll see the currency as well as the total that's due. You'll see an invoice button here. At the moment, just based on today's date, it is grayed out because it is not available to pay yet. So this is a really good time to note that our invoices for the employees of record on Deel will be ready to be paid on the 26th of each month, right? We consolidate, even if your employees are paid semi-monthly, we consolidate that into just one monthly invoice to make it nice and easy for you and just have you have one payment per month rather than two. All right. Also important to note that in any given month, your employee's cutoff date is the 15th, okay? This is for monthly payroll. If you are running on semi-monthly payroll, for example, some countries like Canada, the United States, Mexico, Russia, there is semi-monthly, and so those cutoff dates are the 1st and the 15th. Now, what are these cutoff dates for? All right, this is for anything that you are adjusting payroll. So for example, when I say that, I'm going to go here to invoice details and click adjust. And this is how you can add in expenses, allowances, or bonuses for any of your employees. Okay, so these have to be input and approved by the 15th of each month. Okay. While I'm here, let's touch on a few of these items. If you're inputting an expense, or really any of these, I want to note that it's always going to come up in the local currency. So when you are inputting the amount for the expense or the allowance or the bonus, make sure you're thinking about that in local currency. All right. If it is an expense, you will have to upload a receipt. Deel is going to check this out and make sure it reconciles. So please upload a matching receipt here. For an allowance or a bonus, you are not required to input a receipt or anything like that, but you can put in any supporting documents that you see fit. You can also make any of these recurring. So if you want these to be paid out recurring each month for your employees, you can toggle this on here. I see that commonly with things like a health allowance. All right. Then you'll just click Add Payment Method, or Payment Item, excuse me. And you will see that populates here into the approved category. All right, you can see I've added some previously as well. While I'm here on approved, you'll be able to see who has approved this. And then the client side, this means if you have one approver, it gets automatically approved by the first person who inputs it on your client profile. If the employee inputs these requests on their Deel platform, it'll go over here to pending. Now, I'm going to show you in just a moment or two how to mass approve. But if you are ever in these employees overview page itself and you see here that there are pending items for approval, you can approve or deny straight from this page. All right. If you deny, it'll go over here to the denied column. Obviously, if you approve, it'll go over here to approve. All right. So you'll also see any potential overdue payments here, and you can pay them straight from this page, as well as an invoice history of everything that's been paid out in previous months. All right, so that is adjusting payroll items, and again, important to keep in mind those cutoff dates. Now I'm going to go over here to contract details and highlight some of the key functionalities that you can do from this page. So first of all, these are the high-level overview of the contract details. You'll be able to see all the documents that are housed here and already signed. So you can download the employee agreement, your MSA, and your scope of work at any point in time. Okay. You'll see all the details that you input into your quote. So this is what you entered to set up this employee agreement. Okay. From this page, I also want to touch on, well, what if you need to make any changes to the contract after it's been executed? You can do that over here in the amendments box by clicking Request Amendment. All right. Some of you may have done this already, but I do want to highlight these pop-ups that come up are very important for you to take a look at. So the first few times that you're doing any given workflows, always make sure to read through these pop-ups that come up. So this one here for amendments highlights that this could take about 3 business days to complete. And that is because of this list of steps that are followed. And I do want to highlight that, like Doak was explaining about the employer of record, this takes some time and has to go through Deel's legal review because Deel is the legal employer of record in this relationship. So we have to make sure that we are compliant and legally following all statutory requirements in any given country. So these are the steps that get followed for an amendment. Click Request. All right, you can set a date for this amendment to take place. Note that it cannot be backdated, but it can be future dated. So the default would be that it's active upon all parties signing, but you can select a custom future date. I see this commonly for, let's say you've had a quarterly review and your employee is getting a raise, and it will be effective starting, let's say, the next month. Along with that example, maybe we would have a change in job title. So we're going to edit the contract details. I'm going to make this lead planner A. Make sure that they're full-time if that's what you would like. Click Update. And you can see all of those changes got put into the amendment here. And you can keep adding more. So maybe along with this, there is a raise. You can add all of these into one amendment. You'll then see them all come up over here. If you see anything that you don't want, you can just delete it. So I am happy with the update to the job title, time off, and the salary. So I'm going to send that amendment request. Note this reminder that it could take 3 working days. check everything on there, and click yes, send. Now this is being sent out to Deel's team to review it. After that, you will get a notification that it has been reviewed and is ready for you to sign that amendment. All right, then the rest of the steps will be followed as well. All right, on this contract details page, I also want to highlight a really key aspect about terminations. Now, this might not be happening for you at the moment, but you never know, and we want to be prepared. So I want to highlight this contract end box. And I want to start by saying that in the MSA that you all struck up between Deel and your company, we do ask for a 30 days notice if you need to terminate any of Deel's employees of record, okay? We ask for this because we are the legal employer of record and we are liable for these aspects. So we need to do a case-by-case legal review of any termination or offboarding that needs to happen. Now, this doesn't mean that we will absolutely take those 30 days, but it is just that we need 30 days consideration in order to process this. So in order to notify Deel, you're going to come down here to this contract end box. You'll see if there is a probation period and how long it's been in there. You can click request to end contract. Again, you've got a very important pop-up. I recommend reading through all of these steps each time. Go ahead and click start. All right, you will be able to enter in information about what's going on with this termination. Why are you needing to offboard this employee? We also have some recommendations that come up here. So for example, if you can come to a mutual agreement between your company and the employee, a resignation is the easiest way to go. We know that's not always possible though. So you might need to actually go through with a termination. We would like to know, has this employee been informed? Yes or no? Okay. And it is really best that you do not communicate with the employee until Deel has been informed. Okay. Again, that is because we are the legal employer of record in this relationship. All right. You're going to be able to enter a reason for termination. Much detail as possible, please. Again, because our legal team needs to review this and make sure that we're following any laws in any given country. There is a count limit here. So there we go. All right, click next. Now, you have the option to enter in a requested end date. So if you want this to just be as soon as possible upon our processing time, click as soon as possible. Otherwise, you can set a desired future end date. So maybe I want this at the end of the following month. All right, we're going to ask for time off that was used. Maybe they took off a couple days. And if you'd like to offer a severance. After you've checked through all of this, you'll hit confirm and send. This sends it out to our Deel team to be able to check out the reasoning, make sure we're following all laws in the given country. All right, I'm going to close out of that. All right, those are the key aspects of managing the Deel employees. So always make sure to keep in mind those cutoff dates. All right, and you can request amendments and terminations straight from their contract details page. I'll also touch on here the time off really briefly. Here on my demo account, this employee in particular has not requested any time off, but if they had, you would just see it populate here and you would be able to approve or deny. Okay. Briefly, high-level overview of payslips. We have this brand new feature. It is so super cool that you can request access to your employees' payslips. The reason you have to request access is due to privacy laws, because technically Deel is the employer of record between Deel and the employee. So we cannot just openly share the payslips with you. However, you can request access from your employee by clicking here. Same with compliance documents as well, if you want access to all the documents that they had to input onto Deel. All righty. We have now touched on the dashboard, the contracts page. I want to highlight as well, we had briefly talked about what if your employees go in onto their platform and request an expense reimbursement, an allowance, something like that. They would then populate over here on your dashboard to our mass approval function. In order to approve those, you'll click review, and you'll see everything that has been requested at this time. Okay, you'll see what currency the employee is in, as well as some details on the actual request. I'll note here, everything on the Deel platform that is blue is clickable. So you can see here, I can click here on Lionel's name, and it's going to open up a little bit more detail on the expense that is being requested, in this case, an allowance. Health allowance is blue, so I can click on that for even more details. And I can approve or deny just straight from here if you know right off the bat you don't want to approve that. I'm going to highlight this one as well because I see this little paper clip here, which is indicating to me that this is an expense and has an attachment. So maybe I want to check that out to see if it reconciles in order to approve it. So I'm going to click there. I can click on that lunch expense, and then you can see the attachment right there. So you can click to download it, make sure everything looks good to know if you want to approve or not. All right, for now, I don't want to approve Lionel's allowance request. I just want to approve Concepcion's expense. So I'm going to approve that. And that has now gone into the upcoming payroll. All right, speaking of payroll, I want to touch on payments next. So many of you have probably already done this, but I do want to highlight how to save a payment method on Deel and what kinds of payment methods we support. So over here in the left menu bar, all the way down to payment methods, I'm going to click on that. And you'll see on my demo here, I have a few saved payment methods already there. You may as well, but I'm going to scroll down until I see Add Payment Method. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see all the saved payment methods that we support. We have a few different direct debits, including ACH, which is for the United States, SEPA for Euro payments, Box for GBP payments, and PAD for the Canadian dollar payments. Okay. We also support saving a credit card, as well as if you have a Brex account. And then we have a few that are not able to be saved, but you will see them in the payment flow. So for example, bank transfer, Mercury, Wise, and Coinbase are a little bit manual. Okay, but for any of these direct debits, you'll see the workflow pop up for how to save this. Okay, here Plaid is the easiest. Like you can see, it says preferred, but you can also get verified manually. So any of these will just populate with what information you need to input here. And you can continue with that workflow in order to save that payment method. Once it is saved and verified, let me go back to payment methods. You'll see it populate here in payment methods. If you are saving multiple, you can mark which ones you want to be the preferred method that will populate in your list when you go to pay. And important to note that if you have more than one team set up on Deel, you can go here to give access to different teams. So you can see here for my ACH method, I have access to almost all of my teams on Deel. All right. Over here on my box payment, I don't have quite as many. I only have Deel Global and Deel EOR as access for those teams. So what that means is that the managers on those teams will be able to see access to only the payments that are toggled on for that team. So for example, on the engineering team here, they would not have access to this box payment method. Okay. You can also add access by an individual. So these are the managers that you have on your teams, which I'll show you in a minute as well. You can give access there. All right. Speaking of all this team level access, I want to go into our team settings. Now, you might wonder here, I know this happens commonly to me, I don't see any team settings. Well, that's because I'm in all teams. So I need to go into a team specifically, And then you'll see the team settings toggle pops on here. All right. Team settings is super important for a lot of your customization. Okay. So I want to highlight, we talked about you can save different payment methods per team. And you can also add managers onto each team. They will only have access to any team that they are added to. Okay. I'll go here and click add. All you need is a first name, last name, and email to add in any manager. And you have 3 levels of access that you can give them. Admin being the highest level access, they can add integrations, they can create new teams, set save payment methods, and actually perform payments. The next level is controller. So this might be good for someone on your accounts payable or your finance team. They can adjust payments and perform the payments as well. Support specialist is the 3rd level, the lowest level. What gets taken away from this level is that they cannot access any payment methods or pay. Okay, so they won't ever see the ability to click pay on the Deel dashboard. Any 3 of these access levels can be made an approver and an adjuster. To note difference between these two, the approver is the person who on the Deel dashboard can look through all the expenses and allowance requests and click approve. An adjuster is someone who can actually add those in for the employees on their behalf. So where you click that adjust button and add in the expense or the allowance or the bonus. Okay. Once you've selected all of those and input the information, you'll just click send invite. All right. At any given time, you can also edit these access levels here. All right. I'm going to toggle this off for just a moment so that I can highlight this approve function. I recommend to everyone that you make sure this is turned on so that you do not miss anything that comes in from your employees, whether it's those expense or allowance requests. Now, the type of approval you can offer to do additional items only. So that's just those expenses. Or in the future, if you use our contractor model, it would be for pay-as-you-go style hourly contracts. Or you can approve all items. So this would be including fixed rate and recurring items like that recurring health allowance or maybe a recurring bonus. Okay. I recommend at least having additional items only. If you prefer all items, you could do that as well. You can also edit the number of approvers that you would like. So you can make this from 1 approver all the way up to 3, whatever you need. Okay. Now, I do want to highlight here invoice availability. This is only for if you're using the contractor model on Deel. So you might notice that if you have changed this, but you only have employees of record, that is because Deel being the legal employer of record, we are running the payroll and we only put out the invoices, like I said before, on the 26th of each month. All right, so those will be coming out the 26th. All right, last thing I want to highlight in team settings is the ability to use our Autopay functionality. Highly recommend this for everyone. So if you toggle on Autopay, it will automatically pull from whatever saved payment method you have on Deel on the day that the invoice generates. So like I said, for your full-time employees, that would be the 26th of each month. All right, so Autopay is now on, and I'll just briefly highlight that you can see this toggle for approve items is grayed out. And that is because if Autopay is on, we want to ensure that you're having the opportunity to approve items. So we have defaulted that you can't turn approve items off if you have Autopay on. All right. I'm gonna hop back on over here to the Deel dashboard and finally go through the pay workflow. Okay. Now that we have a saved payment method up, actually, I'm going to go to all my teams because I want to see all of the payments that are potentially due. We've approved items. We have saved a payment method. Now, how do we actually push that payment through? Well, you'll see this high-level overview on your Deel dashboard. You'll also see this come up in the Contracts tab, just so you're aware. So if you go here, you'll also see it. But how do we pay? Well, click Pay, and Deel uses a mass pay feature. So you will be paying in the currency of whatever payment method you set up. You'll see when you click here, you can filter through lots of different filters to see the payments that are due based on those filters. But for now, you'll see everything populate by team, as well as what the currency is that the contract is being paid out in, the cycle that it's pulling up for this. So this is my March cycle. As you can see that a lot of them are overdue. All right, I'm going to check if there's any that I maybe don't want to pay. I don't want to pay this deposit at the moment, so I'm going to toggle that off. But everything else looks good, so I'm going to click Continue. All right, from this page, you have a number of options. So I have a few saved payment methods here. I want to pay from my ACH direct debit account, so I'm going to click that one. We also have the option, just to let you know, to use some other payment methods at any time of payment. So if there's something that you didn't save that you want to use for this specific payment, you can do so here. So maybe I want to use Brex, click Continue and follow that pay flow. All right, I'm going to go back though, because I want to use my ACH direct debit. Now, what are we seeing over here? I have a breakdown of the payments that are going to be due on each of these teams, similar to what we were seeing in the previous screen. So how much is due in the local currency, okay? And then it totals it in the currency that you're paying in. So for this moment right now, I'm paying in USD. So I could do these drop downs here to see any of the breakdowns. All right. You can also click here to see a breakdown of the fees. So these could be inclusive of your management fees for managing Deel employees. If you do have any contractors, you might see that on there as well. All right. I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. I can see that breakdown again here, and that it is giving me the processing fee of $5 for using an ACH method. I can also download a CSV or download a PDF of the statement. This is like a pre-receipt. So you can see all of these fees and the kind of the prediction. All right, in order to push through that payment, all you'll need to do is click Confirm. So it's as simple as 5 clicks to make a mass payment on Deel. All right. Once you have clicked that pay, you'll see that mass pay is processing here. Okay, but where do you go for more details? You can always go over here on the left side menu bar to Invoices and Receipts. And I'll highlight quickly the difference between invoices and receipts. Invoices are one-to-one. So one invoice generates per payment that is due to any employee or any contractor on Deel. All right, so it's one-to-one. Now, because we have the mass pay function and you can pay multiple contracts in one transaction, that's what your receipt is. So you can see here, today I made this payment to 12 different contracts. All right, you'll also see the status. So here it is currently processing, but I have some other ones that are already paid out. For any given receipt on this page, you can click Download. You can also directly go to our payments report and customize that based on anything you want to see. All right. I'm going to go to reports really quickly. Just a high-level overview, we have a few different report features and summaries that we support. So you can look at a contract summary, invoice summary, payment summary, all invoice items, and productivity report, which is more for contractors on an hourly type basis. But really good to look at there. Okay. Quickly going to touch on apps and perks. If you've been using the Deel platform for a little while, you'll notice this is a newer feature where we consolidated our menu bar. Okay, so apps and perks now hold our integrations. Okay, so you'll see all the integrations that we have available, and you can click on any one of these to get that integration linked, get your platform linked, and it'll give you a super detailed breakdown of how you go through these. We also have a Roots plugin partnership and any perks that you want to check out. So these are customized by each country. So feel free to just select the country that you are in, and you'll be able to see all these awesome partnerships that we have that can get you discounts on lots of different things. Super cool. Alrighty. Lastly, I'm going to jump over here to settings. Always good to know that you have access to your settings to customize. You can always update your personal settings here. Organization level. It's important to note that one of our highest level of access, it's almost like a Deel super user, is our organization manager. So this is someone that can name the organization and adjust any entity details. So think about who you had originally set up your Deel account. If that person is not someone who should be editing or adding any entities, make sure that you just add in a new person who's going to be your Deel super user or your organization manager. All right, so you can always update your entity details here if you are that organization manager. And I also want to hop over to the notification settings. So I get a lot of questions typically on what if I want to turn off these types of emails, or I want to receive a payment reminder notification. You can access that here from your email notification settings and toggle any of those as you see fit. Alrighty, that is pretty quickly wrapping up our demo here.
Great. Thanks, Jordan. So now we'd like to open up the floor for any questions that you may have. I know that was a lot of information, but you might have noticed some things that were, a little bit complicated or unclear. So just let us know in the comment section or chat on the right there. I'll give it a minute or so before we wrap up. But yeah, thanks, Jordan. I think we had a lot of questions about the recording. Yes, just to reiterate, we will have this recording available for sure so that you can revisit it and go through anything that Jordan covered. Anything else? Okay. Well, if there are no questions, we'll wrap it up early today. Thanks again, everyone, for attending. I hope that this training session was helpful and useful in getting to know the Deel platform a little bit better. There are a lot of different features, so for sure, take your time with it, walk through the entire demo again, and oh, there. From John, let me just bring that up. For clarity, Autopay can only be used with ACH, correct?
So Autopay can be turned on if you have any saved payment method. So any direct debit, so the ACH, SEPA, Box, or PAD. It can be used if you save a credit card. Any of the saved payment methods, you'll be able to turn on Autopay. Great question, John.
Any other last minute questions? We still have some time, so feel free to let us know. Yep, definitely. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, you can definitely check out our support hub / help center for any other questions. We have a lot of articles there that will be useful. John, not a bank transfer though?
Correct, because bank transfer can't be saved. It is a more manual payment method that you have to go through the workflow each time and then actually perform the wire transfer on your banking website and then come back to the Deel platform and click I have paid. So it's not able to be saved. But if you are using the same bank each time, I highly recommend saving that bank as a direct debit if you can.
Great. Thank you, John, for that question. Anything else?
I'll just highlight really briefly, Rebecca,
Yeah.
speaking about the Support Hub, as Matt was sharing that article in there. The Support Hub is a really great feature to utilize. So in the top right-hand corner of the Deel platform, I did forget to show that. But there's a link to basically access the Support Hub, help and feedback. So you have a lot of resources at your fingertips straight from the Deel dashboard. Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. One of them being the Support Hub. All right, so definitely utilize that for your questions, as well as our support team, which you can access from the chat feature on the Deel platform.
Great. Okay, I think that wraps it up in terms of this first training session. Thanks again for all your questions and attending. We hope you found it super useful and fun to go through the Deel platform together. And that's it from us. Thanks again, everyone.